Holy shit, the comic book movie news doesn't stop. I love this escalation. It looks like escalation. It looks like a Cold War between Marvel and DC. Everyone's talking about and speculating about Captain America Civil War, and then DC's like, you know what, here's our lineup. And Marvel is like, you know what, DC, Age of Ultron trailer. Ugh. And you know what, here's our lineup too. Ugh. Don't you ever try to snipe us again. And the DC lineup looks awesome also, but you know they feel like the Prince and Braveheart at this point. Just on the ground are like... Let's talk about the lineup and the movies that are happening for Phase 3. This is Marvel Phase 3 announcement. Starting it out on May 6, 2016 is Captain America's Serpent Society. When I heard that, I was following it on Twitter and I was like, oh, well, I mean, it just sounds like Hydra's up to their old shit and... we'll see. I can see why they would want to start out this announcement with a movie like that. Cap 2 was cool. Maybe Serpent Society will be sweet. More on that shit later, though. Moving on to November 2016, we finally get an official announcement for Doctor Strange. We knew Doctor Strange was coming out because there's been a lot of Doctor Strange casting rumors. So the fact that there's officially an announcement for a Doctor Strange movie, nothing new, but I like having a date for it. Funny thing is, Benedict Cumberbatch, people have been like, it's official, he's gonna be Doctor Strange. If that was official, this would have been the time to announce it. They didn't announce that, which tells me it's not official. It may look good. It may end up happening, but it's not like pen is not on paper. The ink's not dry. Would Cumberbatch be a good Strange? Yeah, because I'm a Cumberbatch fan. I think he'd be awesome. So May 5th, 2017, we get Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Guardians of the Galaxy was the hugest risk of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I thought. It paid off big, and now we get a Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and now instead of like, well, maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. People are like, that's gonna be awesome, May 2017. Then 2.5 months later, 2.5 months after that, we have Thor Ragnarok. Thor's going after the iconic sword from Squaresoft Final Fantasy Chrono Lore. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I guess Ragnarok is a cyborg duplicate of Thor, which gets my mind thinking. I'm like, wait, does that tie into Age of Ultron? Does Ultron create a Ragnarok and now Ragnarok? It's like the thing in Thor 3. The fact that Tony Stark creates Ultron shows that in the cinematic universe, you don't have to have the same exact story as the comic books. That's why it's fun to speculate. So maybe before Ultron gets destroyed, he creates a Thor duplicate. I don't know. Just the fact that Thor has to take on a cyborg Thor duplicate of himself, that's pretty sweet. Then November 3rd, 2017, we have an official announcement for a Black Panther movie. That's right, Marvel's favorite male porn star name finally gets a movie. Seriously, Black Panther? Come on. It's a total porn star name. Played by Chadwick Boseman, and you knew that dude was gonna get work. You saw him in 42, and you're like, something tells me I haven't seen the last of that guy. Then he was the Funk, and now the Funk is gonna be Black Panther, which is a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I like the way they announced him and they had him on stage. These Marvel announcements, man, I mean, it's an event. It really is. And we have Captain Marvel coming out July 6, 2018, which is funny because I always knew Captain Marvel to be a dude, and then I guess Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel, and I believe it was 2012, which makes me wonder, like, are they doing the female Captain Marvel or the male Captain Marvel? I don't know. I haven't heard an announcement. They might have announced it. You may have heard. Feel free to actually me in the comment section on that one. I feel like they're going to do the female Captain Marvel, like Miss Marvel being Captain Marvel, because if you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe in all of its glory, the amount of starring roles for female superheroes is the answer is none. None superhero females. I thought Black Widow was going to get her own standalone movie because she kicked ass in Cap 2, but I guess she's not. So I feel like they're going to do the female Miss Marvel Captain Marvel thing. Then November 2nd, 2018, we have the Inhumans. I really don't know a lot about the Inhumans. I feel like this might be the new Guardians of the Galaxy feeling, like the misfits, you know, the ones that are like, oh, that's a risk. I feel like if Guardians of the Galaxy bombed and everyone hated it, they wouldn't have done an Inhumans movie. Since everyone loved it, Inhumans movie. And then the last announcement, or technically second to the last announcement, is the fact it was cool. It was like a trailer. I saw the shitty bootleg version of it. It shows everyone from the previous Marvel movies. You hear Nick Fury doing his monologue, and, you know, it's panning around something. You don't know what it is. In the end, it turns around, you see it. It's a gauntlet. You see the Infinity Stones, and you see Thanos' face behind it, and you see him. He makes a fist because he's all ominous and villainous and shit. This all blah. The title's all Avengers in gold lettering, Infinity War, and it says, boom, part 1 coming out May 4th, 2018, and boom, part 2 coming out May 3rd, 2019. Everyone in the crowd just started erupting and roaring and cheering, which is interesting because if you look at the lineup, there are movies in between it. It's Avengers Infinity War part 1, and Captain Marvel and Inhumans are in between, and then Avengers Infinity War part 2. Is that in between? Is it after shit goes down in part 1, and then these two have their movies, and then part 2 is a continuation? Are those two happening before Infinity War? Is it at the same time? I feel like if this big shit is happening with Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet, is there time to have two more heroes doing their thing? Is it like Final Fantasy VI, like Kefka destroys the world in Infinity War Part 1, and then those two have their movies, and then Infinity War Part 2 is them going, hey, you know what? We need to take that asshole out. In that case, is Avengers Infinity War Part 1 just Avengers 3, and then Part 2 is Avengers 4? But at the end of it, they were like, you know what? We're gonna leave you with this. And it was footage of Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, and they're talking, they're kind of at odds. And then you find out that Captain America Serpent Society, that's bullshit. It's actually especially Captain America Civil War. If you want to know my thoughts on that, I did a whole video on that shit, so did you watch my video on Captain America Civil War? Fact is, that's awesome. I feel like Ultron's gonna feed into that. You know, Tony Stark's gonna get some shit, and people are gonna have to choose their side. Now, possibly Ultron ties in with Ragnarok. That's just me. It doesn't officially, but I'm just saying it could, because one's machines and the other's machines. If it doesn't tie in, it just feels repetitive. Point is, there's a lot of Marvel movie news. I've enjoyed Avengers Phase 2, but Phase 3 looks like it's the shit. And keeping in mind, looking at things to come before Phase 3, we still have Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. Just, Marvel has built an empire. I can't wait to look at my Blu-ray collection in 2019 and go, look at that legacy. That's enormous. Marvel Studios is doing it right. They have great casting. They have great timing. I love these announcements. I love the way they announce shit. It's not boring. It's not like, all right, we're just kind of leaking it to this one website and there's our list. No, they hold like a big ass press conference and they just kind of, they show you and then they tease you in the beginning like Serpent Society, and then the end it's like this big no Civil War. They didn't have to be that cool about it, but they did. And I was thinking, this is Tuesday. Today, as I'm filming this, is Tuesday night. The Age of Ultron trailer was supposed to premiere. So was it going to be like Age of Ultron trailer and this announcement anyway? Or did this announcement happen because someone leaked the Age of Ultron trailer? They released the Age of Ultron trailer early and they didn't have anything for today that's new. So they were like, well, here's some new shit. If that's the case, then by all means, leak more Marvel shit, because apparently we get an awesome day if you do. This isn't even including the fact that in between all this shit, we have a Star Wars movie coming and then we have DC movies in between. People have asked me like, why are you doing so many comic book news videos, Jeremy? Because I enjoy comic book movies and this shit is rad to talk about. We're gonna be absurdly entertained for the next few years, that's for damn sure. All right, so the Marvel Phase 3 movie lineup announced. Have you seen the announcement? Now that you've heard the announcement, what do you think about it? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.